Hello there, it's Terry here from Cloudy Coral Designs. For today's video, I will be sharing this fun interactive shaker card that I created using the Santa Delivery die set from CottageCutz' most recent release. And to top things off, CottageCutz will be giving away this die set to a lucky winner. Please stay tuned for more information on the giveaway. So here are the supplies of the products and tools that I will be using for this video. Distress Oxide inks in the color Hickory Smoke, Black Suit, Wilted Violet, Prize Ribbon, Broken China, and Tumble Glass. I will also use a few basic dyes, Shimmer Spray, Snow Marker, Copic Markers, Liquid Adhesive, and Score Tape. Also gold paint and shaker beads for the fun interactive element. You can definitely use whatever you have on hand, make it work for you. I will also have everything listed down below for reference. Okay, let's get started. So one of the tricks that I like to do when I'm cutting intricate tiny dies is to line one side of my cardstock with double-sided tape. I like doing this because it helps keep all the tiny pieces intact during die cutting, which then makes it easier for Copic coloring. Of course, you don't have to do this. I just wanted to share a helpful trick that I found works for me. I went ahead and colored the images in with Copic markers. All of the colors that I use will be referenced down below in the description. What I like to do is give the little characters a little bit of life by using a white gel pen to create highlights. There are no specific reasons to where I place the highlights. I just add it in until I feel like there's enough. Now I popped out the color pieces and I am now assembling the pieces together. I find this part so fun to do. You can literally create so many different scenes with just one die set. And here are the final colored images. Such a cute die set. Okay, so let's talk about the pieces that's needed for this shaker card. I used the largest scallop stitch circle die from the basic set and cut that about 7 times. I then used the circle die in my stash to cut the inside of each of the scallop stitch piece out, leaving what looks like a frame. I know 7 might sound a bit much, but you will see the reason why I did this in a bit. I used the largest stitch circle from the basic set and die cut that 4 times in white cardstock. The reason why I needed 4 is because I will use one as the card base, one as the card front, and 2 for the hillside snow slopes. Okay, so let's talk about how I created the background. I am using Distress Oxide inks. I like using a hybrid ink for blending because the ink layers and blend together very nicely. I like to start with my lightest shade of ink first and work my way to the darkest shade of ink. I am only applying Black Suit on the outer edges of the card front. Okay, so I've been enjoying adding ink splatters onto my card front lately. This is how I do it. I place my card front in an old box to prevent unwanted splatters on my work surface. I then use a small round brush that I have generously dipped into my iridescent white paint. I will gradually move over my entire card front while tapping lightly with one finger on the brush. This will allow evenly distributed splatters on a card front. And to top it off, I added a spritz of Shimmer Spray. This simple technique is so easy to do and it creates so much drama. I love it. Okay, so now using 2 of the stitch circles that we cut out earlier, I went ahead and used my stitch hillside border die to cut out 2 snow slopes. I wanted to add a little more interest to my snow slope, so I used Distress Oxide to add a little bit of color. So here is another fun technique. I wanted a little more dimension on my snow slopes, so using a snow marker, I applied a layer of ink on the top portion of my snow slopes. And then I used my heat gun to apply heat onto the areas where the snow marker was applied. Look at how cool this looks. It puffs up like snow. Such an easy way to add dimension onto a card. For the next step, I am using liquid adhesive to glue only 6 of the 7 frames together. I then use glue to sandwich the piece of acetate in between the 7th layer. The reason why I am doing this is to create a shaker well for my shaker element to sit. You can use foam tape as a replacement to the 6 layers of frames, but I found that doing this method holds up better in the mail. Here you can see how the layers created a well for the shaker bits. Okay, so now it's time to assemble the card. I glued down the two slopes first, then I added on all of the images to create the scene. You can see that I am peeling off the double-sided tape that was used earlier to help adhere the pieces together. I wanted a little more security, so I added liquid glue on the back of the images as well. This offers a little bit of wiggle room to make sure that I have the placement exactly where I want it. I wanted to add more interest to the scene, so I decided to go back in with my snow marker to add snowdrops to the card front. And then I went ahead and added sequins and sea beads to the shaker wheel. Using liquid adhesive again, I then applied that onto the frame and laid the card front on top of it. Then using a heavy acrylic block, I laid that on top of the card. Now look how cute this is. It's so adorable. Now it's time to create the card base. Using the last stitch circle that we die cut and my scoreboard, I scored the circle at 3 1/8 inches. I then added score tape to the top area of the score line. This will create a hinge that will hold the card front to the card base. Okay, using a sentiment from my stash, I used the same circle die that was used to cut the inner of the frame as a guide to cut the sides of the sentiment. I am doing this because it will cut the strip to fit snugly with the shape of the card. And we are done. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you would like a chance to win this awesome die set, please visit CottageCutz channel to subscribe, like, and comment. Until next time, have a wonderfully blessed day. Bye bye.